General Motors, Toyota, Honda, Stellantis, and Nissan reported recent declines as problems in the global supply chain held down output and inventories. In the meantime, Tesla delivered 241,300 vehicles in the third quarter, topping expectations. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about Tesla, analyze their deliveries, and talk about my expectations for Tesla as a company and their stock price for 2025 as they continue beating analysts' expectations even with all these challenges. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Please consider subscribing and smashing that like button since it really helps the channel out. We have been in a chip shortage for a month now, and many companies have gotten affected by it. The thing is that Tesla has found a way to solve that problem and not depend on it. How? Well, by rewriting its vehicle software to support alternative chips. Now they are able to substitute alternative chips by rewriting the software, and they have been doing this since quarter 2. And this is exactly why I believe Tesla will continue being the leader in the industry for so long. With this, I'm not saying that there is no demand for the other automakers. No, they have a lot of demand, to be honest. What I want to say with this is that while other suppliers suffer due to chip shortage, Tesla has been able to find a way to meet the demand despite the chip shortage. Still, Tesla beat analyst expectations as they were expecting 220,000 vehicles for the quarter, and Tesla delivered 241,300 vehicles last quarter, 9,275 Model S and Model X, and 232,025 Model 3 and Model Y. And they mentioned that they are planning to host its annual shareholder meeting at its plant now under construction near Austin on October 7th, so this week. Now, we all know that Tesla is certainly the leader, but competition is starting to grow. Rivian's Air 1T and Lucid Air sedan are now in production and selling to customers in the US. Even though they seem to be nice companies for now, I would love to wait and see the performance and reviews from customers. Still, I do believe that the competition will grow fast as it is expected that half of all new vehicles sold in the US to be electric models by 2030, including battery electrics, plug-in hybrids, and hydrogen fuel cell vehicles, which obviously benefits Tesla and all of these newest manufacturers, but also take into consideration that Ford, Audi, BMW, Porsche are creating their own EV as well. Not only Tesla, Lucid, and Rivian. Still, something very important is how is Tesla nowadays in comparison to the competition, as many like to call all of the new EV companies the next Tesla or the Tesla killer, but the truth is that Tesla has such a head start of the competition in the EV market that it is unlikely for anyone to pass them anytime soon. The cult of Tesla will keep buyers attached to the brand for years to come. Even Audi and Mercedes are finding it difficult to tap into the same type of aura. And I completely agree with this. Tesla has created a huge brand recognition, something more like what Apple has done. Also, they are so much ahead in technology that people believe it was a thing that happened from one day to another. I'm not saying that the competition will not be able to achieve that, but I'm saying that it takes a lot of time, mistakes, and a lot of money. Tesla is where it is today because of everything that they have gone through, all the innovation, trial and error, and mistakes. They have gone through a lot, but many just learned about it a year or two ago. Now let's talk about my forecast with this company. Now, this is the same spreadsheet that I use on every quarter for the Tesla forecast, and these are all speculation. What I did was that in here we can see all the deliveries that they had in 2019, 2020, and 2021 until quarter 3, which they already reported 241,300 vehicles. With this, they had a growth 73% year over year in comparison to 2020. Now, for quarter 4 2021, I think that they will be able to get to the 301,000 vehicles, which would be at 66% growth year over year and about a 30% growth quarter over quarter, which would help them end the year with 928. Let's round that up to 930,000 vehicles for this year. Now, because of that, I kind of speculated that their average cost per vehicle is about $50,000 to $54,000 according to my calculations right now. But because of that, I can say that they can have a revenue of $15.6 billion for quarter three. This might be really, really high in comparison to what analysts are expecting, but we gotta wait and see what they actually report. With a $15.6 billion in revenue and a net income of $1.5 billion for third quarter, and then $17.9 billion in revenue for fourth quarter, they could have a revenue of about $56 billion for the year 2021, which again would be a growth of 78.97% year over year, which I think it's a lot, but it's possible for Tesla. Now, after all that, they could end the year with a net income of $5.2 billion, which would be an earnings per share of 5.23. We have to take into consideration that analysts are expecting a revenue of $50 billion for 2021, an earnings per share of 5.38, which the revenue is a little bit lower, or a lot lower than mine, which it is why I think this is very bullish in my opinion, but Tesla has been surprising us a lot lately. Now, on their quarter four 2020 earnings, they said that over multi-year horizon, we expect to achieve a 50% average annual growth in vehicle deliveries, which means that they're expecting that on average for the next years, they're gonna grow on about 50%, even though they said that some years may grow faster, which we expect the case to be for 2021. Which is why I think it's okay for them to see a growth of 80 to 85% this year. We gotta wait and see again, as this is all speculation. But if they're really able to grow on about 50% for the next coming years until 2025, they could end 2025 delivering 4,700,000 vehicles, which would be a growth of 50% annually for the next 4 years until 2025. Because of that, they would end the year with a revenue of about $227 billion, which is huge for this company, but they might be able to do this if they grow 50% annually. Now, after all expenses, they could end the year with $34.2 billion in net income, which will be an earnings per share of $28.74 per share. Now, take into consideration that all this is complete speculation. All these expenses are calculations that I did in comparison with previous years. As you can see here is 2019, 2020, 2021, and my expectations for 2025 as well. Now, I did take into consideration 2018, so this is kind of an average and performance that I think Tesla could have in the coming years. It could be right or it could be wrong depending on how they do in the coming years and how they perform. If they are really able to grow 50% in the next 4 years, then this will be the results. But we do have to take into consideration that they say over a multi-year horizon. We don't know if they're talking about the next 5 years or the next 10 years. So I'm calculating this as the next 5 years until 2025. But if it is next 10 years, then this could change a little bit and be a little bit bearish or bullish depending on how they do, because they could expect to do really well this year 2021 but really bad next year. So this coming 4 years, in my opinion, are going to be good for Tesla, but we know that the competition is growing. Now, if they're able to report these numbers by 2025 with an earnings per share of 28.74, we could see a stock price of about $1,437 per share with a PE ratio of 50, shares diluting at about 5% annually, because that's what they have been doing in the past years, as these are all calculations taking into consideration past year averages. That would be a return of 82.99% in 4 years, which would be a 20.75% yearly return, which I think it's incredible. Now, if we want to be a little bit more bullish, and instead of a 50 PE ratio, we decide to have a 100 PE ratio, then they could end in 2025 with a share price or stock price of $2,874 per share, with a PE ratio of 100, and that would be 265% return in 4 years, or 66.50% return yearly. Which again, I think this is incredible. Now, this is very speculative. Again, this is 5 years until 2025. Can we see Tesla over $1,400 before 2025? We might and we might not. Impossible to know, as this is all speculation and calculations based on previous years. But as I said before, this industry is very, very surprising, and something good or bad could happen on the way. Not only to newer companies like Lucid or Rivian, but even Tesla. I do believe Tesla has a lot of potential long term, even more with the 25,000 vehicle that is coming out, and the robotaxi business, and all the innovation that they have been having every year. I do have to say that even though we can see those prices before 2025, we should be very careful and understand the worth of Tesla, as it is ahead, but we need to make sure it does not accelerate that much that surpass fundamentals. I currently invest in Tesla. I have a small position in it. I have it on my M1 Finance portfolio, where I invest monthly no matter what happens, but it is a company that I certainly track a lot. It surprises me everything that they do to be able to continue growing no matter what. And the chip shortage has proven that even more. It impresses me what they have done and the growth that they have had and could have in the future. But I know that we need to be very, very careful with overhyping this company in the coming years. Still, I also track other EVs companies, even though I don't invest in them yet. I will be tracking Lucid once their cars have been delivered to customers, and would love to start seeing customers review like we see with Teslas, as that would give us a way better picture. Thank you, and see you next time.